Hello and welcome to OneCricket Live. This is Badal Parikh and alongside is Saurav Saket. Today we'll be talking about the T20 World Cup and we have a few injury updates from across the world, and in particular it is from Australia. So what actually is the update, Saket?
So the biggest update right now is Ashton Agar is still to prove his fitness. So Australia have issued him an ultimatum that prove your fitness within the 4 days or you will be removed from the squad.
So actually that is a big statement coming from Australia, because Ashton Agar was a part of the previous T20 World Cup squad that eventually went on to win the cup, and this time the World Cup is at your home ground, and then there is this big player who was a part of your setup and eventually helped you win big. So what do you think, who will replace him if eventually someone does?
So if you go from the last match, which was scheduled against England, Michael Swepson came in his place. But definitely thinking about the squad that Australia are fielding for the World Cup, they already have Adam Zampa. So I don't think that they will go for another spinner. The big name that comes to my mind is Cameron Green. He has performed exceptionally well in the Australian outfit and could be a great addition to that squad.
Even I believe that Cameron Green is someone who can walk into the squad, not just walk into the squad. I believe that he can even walk into the playing 11 if given an opportunity. Cameron Green came into the limelight when he played that knock against India. That man was swinging like there is no tomorrow, and if the ball connects to his blade, it was going out of the park. That was the scene. He came into the limelight, and in the next few fixtures, he has retained his spot in place of Steve Smith. Like, they have tried and tested multiple combinations. Even Finch has dropped down to number 2.
See, the only concern I have at this moment is Australia already have 4 guaranteed bowlers that are certain to make a place in that squad. Adam Zampa, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazelwood and Mitchell Starc. Now you have Glenn Maxwell who can give you those additional overs. You have Marcus Stoinis who can give you those additional overs. You have Tim David as well who can give you those additional overs. So when you have a minimum of 7 bowling options available to your squad, I don't think Cameron Green fits into that playing 11. Maybe he's a player who can come in for someone else, but directly coming into that playing 11, I don't think he gets.
See, let me tell you how we can fit in Cameron Green. You're telling that Marcus Stoinis can bowl, Mitchell Marsh can bowl, and even the likes of Tim David can bowl. But are they actually bowling at this point in time? See, Mitchell Marsh has not been bowling, he has not been playing actually. And when it comes to Stoinis, neither has he been bowling in the recent past. So if they cannot guarantee you a couple of overs, I don't think so that Australia will rely on them to complete the quota of overs. They might try Green because, see, let me tell you something. Steve Smith has played 12 matches. The last 12 T20s that he has played, he has been out for a single digit 7 times. So that is a big stat, which might make Finch wonder that he needs to be dropped out. And if Steve Smith walks out of this 11, Finch will drop down. So Cameron Green slots in as an opener.
Let me just counter this. Steve Smith is a big match player. Everyone knows that. And coming into a major tournament, I don't think, just reiterate this statement, what Virat Kohli is for India is what Steve Smith is for Australia.
So you can't be making that statement. What Virat Kohli is for India it is not close enough. The impact that Kohli has in India, the impact that Steve Smith has in Australia are 2 different things. The strike rates are different, so you can't compare the 2.
But I'm pretty sure they won't be benching him for Green. They are trying and testing the combinations at the moment against England. They'll do some that in the practice games as well. But when it comes to the group stages of the World Cup, I'm pretty sure Steve Smith will play.
See, I'll not be pretty sure with the fact that Steve Smith will play. We might see that Finch drops down to number 3 and there's a place for Cameron Green up top, but this is all hypothetical because Green is not a part of the squad as of now. Ashton Agar still has 4 days to prove his fitness, and if he goes on and proves his fitness, then all these questions that we are currently debating on becomes invalid.
But then again comes his injury. He suffered a side strain issue in July touring Sri Lanka. Right now he's suffering from an ankle injury. So back-to-back injuries, and everyone knows that it is tough for any bowler and particularly an all-rounder to easily recover from injury. If he was to play, I think that Australia might even consider him playing in the England games that are happening, but they are still trying to keep him away, and giving him an ultimatum is like, you are making sure.
See, he might not have recovered fully. That is why they've given him a 4-day ultimatum to prove his fitness. And personally, I think they will make sure that Green makes it into the squad. He plays or he does not play, the thing that we cannot guarantee as of now, but there is a very big possibility that you play him because he's a power hitter. And look at the fact that if you have multiple all-rounders in your team and they are power hitters, you actually go on and dominate things.
Okay, so considering Green plays in your 11, what is your probable predicted Australian lineup for the World Cup?
See, if Green plays in the 11, then the lineup will be Cameron Green, David Warner, first down is Aaron Finch, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis. Sorry, I forgot
So
Mitchell
there's
Marsh.
no Mitch Marsh there.
Yeah, I just left out because you're asking something that I wasn't prepared about. I'm still figuring it out, but yes, I can make a playing 11, a possible combination that will feature Green, Marsh, Stoinis,
And Maxwell.
and Maxwell in the same lineup, which gives you 8 bowling options. See, on paper it looks that these are 8 bowling options, but actually these are not 8 bowling options. Stoinis hasn't bowled, neither has Mitchell Marsh. They have had their injury concerns. You cannot guarantee them a
I agree
start.
with your point that they haven't bowled, but still, as of late, you haven't seen any side field with 8 bowling options in their playing 11. That isn't like possible for, because everyone see, all these players are big batting hitters. Also, we didn't even consider Tim David in that list, so that gives you the 9th bowling option if he plays.
Actually, I had Tim David as a potential replacement or like swap for Marcus Stoinis. I don't think that Tim David will go on and start. This is something that I personally think. Yes, obviously people will be thinking that he's talking bullshit, but this is not bullshit because though the two of them are similar kind of players, they have a similar kind of role.
Bringing in Tim David just right into the World Cup 11, they played him against India, he performed well. Now you're bringing him to the World Cup. I don't think that they might drop him. He's a guaranteed player to start for me as well. Cameron Green, I'm pretty sure if he features into that squad, he won't be available. Whether he comes in or not, that only happens when Smith does not play. If Smith plays, I'm pretty sure Green doesn't come in.
Yeah, obviously that is the statement I started off with. So you're pretty much stating what I have been stating all the while.
But then again, those 8 bowling options that we were talking about, that only happens if you're not taking in Tim David in the team as well. So you're excluding Smith as well as Tim David, and I'm saying that it's either of the
both of them will play a part. Smith will also play a part. Tim David will also play a part. Because I don't believe that Marsh and Stoinis both are fit enough to carry out throughout the tournament. One of them might wear out and they might need a replacement for a game or two, and that is where you slot in Tim David. It's about a squad that eventually goes on to win the World Cup. It's not an 11 that does it. And what wins you tournaments? We've been hearing this like all our lives that a bowling unit is what goes on to win tournaments, not a batting team. So if you have 8 options, you are presenting a strong case to win the World Cup, and retaining a T20 World Cup is no joke.
Just
no joke.
Reiterate on my mistake. We had one mistake. We didn't even slot in Matthew Wade into that playing 11.
No, he is a part of my 11. I pretty much see. For those who are like wondering what I'm talking about, what can the potential playing 11 be? You can head over to OneCricket's website. There are numerous articles where we have talked about potential combinations that Australia can come up with, and it features all the 3 all-rounders as well as Matthew Wade. See, I made sure of things. I'm not talking nonsense. I'm talking absolutes here.
That is just a hypothetical situation at the moment. This only happens if Ashton Agar fails to prove his fitness, and only time will tell if that goes on and Australia issues him the ultimate that you need to leave the team.
So basically it will not be you need to leave the team. If he's not fit enough, he'll not start, and within 4 days we'll know what actually is the condition, and hopefully Green makes it into the 11 because that is something I desperately want. Until then, you can subscribe our channel, and you can basically keep accessing the OneCricket website for further content.